When you ask a dyslexic person for a piece of information, it's not uncommon for them to say, yes, here's that piece of information, along with this rich context of how I actually learned it. For example, if you ask me about this little pen cup that sits on my desk made out of wood, I would tell you that this is a chunk of the orange tree that used to live in my grandparents' backyard. And that one summer, me and one of my siblings went down to visit them. And when we got there, my grandpa said, hey, I've been saving this chunk of the orange tree that used to be in our backyard that died, and I wondered if you might want to carve it into something. And I said, absolutely, I would. And so during that week that we were there, he spent a lot of time showing me how to use a wood lathe, how to attach the piece of wood to the base of the lathe, and then how to actually carve it out. And I remember not just those conversations, but also the sensory experience of like being in an incredibly hot and sweaty Florida garage in the middle of the summer, but also of having the wood shavings like flying off and hitting me and what that felt like. And that type of memory is called episodic memory. And no, dyslexic individuals are not the only ones who have episodic memory. It's just that it seems like dyslexic individuals have a strong preference for remembering information in that way, where we don't just remember isolated details, we remember details within the greater context of story where we learn them. Which is why it's so common when you ask a dyslexic person for a piece of information, they'll give you that piece of information, but they will also surround it with all of this detail that explains why they know it or why it is the way that it is.